Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm trying to film a highly requested video of how to print your own sticky notes. I am going to be showing you how to do it on the Silhouette software because that's what I use. I don't have Word on my Mac. I will put a couple of links in the description box below that shows you, basically there's some other YouTube videos on how you can use Word and Google Pages to make post-it notes. But like I said, I will be using the Silhouette software, which is actually free to download. So if you wanted to, kind of follow along, it's not that difficult. But I am kind of assuming that you know your way around Silhouette a little bit if you're going to be following along. So this was already kind of, the color was already on there. I just printed text on there. This also, that's a oopsie one. This is an Aria's Daydream post-it note, but I just printed Planner Girl on there. This one I completely, I printed from scratch. So I added the image and the font, I think. Again, I'll show you how to, print with an overlay on top so that, if a design is quite bold and you can't write on it, like if your writing's not going to show on there, you can add like a little white box, like a transparency box on there, to make it easier to write on. So yeah, I'll show you a few different ways that I kind of work with sticky notes, and you can just create some of your own unique sticky notes so that you can use them in your planners. So let's get started. Some that I kind of worked on earlier, so I can show you how to make these. If you're familiar with using Silhouette, it should be pretty straightforward. Even if you're not, you might not be able to do some of the more complicated ones, but you'll definitely be able to do, basic ones where you can just add, a whole image to a post-it note or even adding text. It's, it's pretty simple. So the first thing you want to do is switch off your registration marks. We don't need them. And if you have the cut border, the red lines, we also want to switch them off. We just kind of need the print border, and we want to draw a box and size that to be 3 by 3 or whatever size post-it notes you have. Let's do 3 by 3, apply. Okay, so that's the first one, and then we're just going to replicate that 6 times. I just copy and paste, but you can obviously use the replicate panel there, and I'm just going to space them out so they're equally spaced. Okay, and we want to change the line color because we actually do need, if you were to print this, the red lines are cut lines, so the page would just print blank. Nothing's going to print. This just shows the Silhouette where to cut. So we actually want physical lines there. So we're going to go to the line panel and we're going to select black, and I'm also going to make it a bit thicker. I think that looks good. Okay, so that's our template. Basically our template is formed and we will go ahead and print that. I already have one printed because what I do is I have just saved this, so I will just save this as sticky note template. So you don't have to keep replicating this process over and over again. You just, next time, you just open up your sticky note template and you're ready to go. You don't need to print this again. Okay, so here's the printed template. I'm just going to put a little word on there to show me. So I, when I use this in the future, I don't get confused about which way up the top of the pages. So here are my white sticky notes. They are actually a little bit smaller than 3x3, but basically you take one and you put it inside the box, okay, and you do that for all 6. And then my printer, that's not straight, but I'll straighten that out in a second. And then you're going to put this, so my printer takes this upside down, and I'm just going to put this back in the paper tray so that when this prints for a second time, it's going to print our patterns. And you can obviously use different colored sticky notes. I just prefer white, but if you're only printing words, you can use like pink, purple, blue. You can use transparent sticky notes. Yeah, as you like. So once this is printed, what we're going to do is we are going to go back to the red lines, because when we print our post-it notes, we actually don't want the black lines to print again. And I'm sure there's an easier way of doing this rather than hitting the back button, but that's just how I find it the most easiest to do. So we press, we're back to this. So if I was to print this now, the red lines are not going to print, and that's how I want to work with this page. So to add a design like this where it takes up the whole page, you basically click and drag the box, go to your library, and let's say I will select this one from Paperella Story. And here it is. Okay, now once it's in this box, you can't really resize it. If you want to resize it, you have to open it up, separately, and then kind of add it on top of the sticky note. Whoops, like that. But because we have clicked and dragged it like that, you'd have to overlay it, but because we clicked and dragged the box, it will automatically fill the box. So even if you've got like an A4 size floral design, let me show you. Okay, so this is like, I think this is a bigger design than 3x3, but what it will do is it will automatically size the floral pattern into the box. So, oops, there we go. So I'm going to leave that there for now, because I'm going to show you how, if you wanted to just print this as it is, you obviously can. What I found is that sometimes, if the pattern is quite bold or the colors are very bold, it's very hard to write on. So what I do then is I just draw another box over that pattern. And I'll just zoom in so you can see a bit closer. I will select that inside box and colour it in white. And you can have it white if you want, and you can, kind of play around with the edges. You can have it smaller, that looks quite nice. Or if you want, which is what I like to do, is I like to change the transparency of the white. So, maybe, I can't remember offhand now, but let's see. I would say maybe about 45 or something. I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you offhand, but it's something that you'd have to play around with, print it and see, is it too white or is it still too dark, and you can adjust the transparency. But that's a really nice way of kind of adding almost like a, a transparent box that lets you see the design, but also it's not so bright that, you still can write on it. It's still going to be usable as a post-it note. And then let's say if you wanted to add some font to it, so let's color that in pink. That's a nice pink, and we can change the font, make it a bit smaller, and just place it wherever you want. You could have it there, you could have your signature on there, your name on there, you could have to do. I like to put like sometimes my kids' names and then give them like a little checklist of things to do. So I'll show you how that looks. So my older daughter's name is, Vishaka. So I can make this as a little sticky note. I can leave like, I can write a little note for her on it, or some encouragement, or like I said, some kind of like, checklist for homeschool or chores. And to add checklists, I generally just use like, you can use like bullet points, like, so these are just full stops. Okay, so I've got a full stop here. Don't know why it's doing that. Okay, yep. And I'm going to fill that in the same color as that. Okay, and I'm going to copy that a few times. I should do it. Okay, and then I'm going to group them together so that I can move the whole thing in one go, and just turn it around, and there you go. I have a little checklist, and I could even add another one if I wanted, but anyway, I'll just leave that for now. So there you go, that's pretty easy to do and looks good. Like I said, you could just leave it blank, you could have the middle just completely white. Okay, so that's those two. Then let's move on to another design. So sometimes I like to do, the majority of my sticky notes are always floral designs. So again, when you are not filling in the box like this, so you don't want the whole design just filling up the box like that, which you can do, and again you could add a transparency over it. But if you didn't want to and you wanted to move this design around, like right now the whole box moves around because it's filled it, but let's get rid of that, and we want to just make this a little smaller before we move it, and I'm just going to cut and paste it here. So I've got the floral design. I can kind of move it around a little and put it in the corner here maybe, or in the top corner, wherever you kind of want it. And I always like to have mine a little bit coming off the edge, so I don't, I'm not fussed about having the whole pattern in there. So yeah, mine will only print like this bit, all this stuff here will be off, be cut off basically. So I am going to cut the excess off so that it doesn't interfere with the other post-it notes, and you can do that by either using the rubber, or I just like to cut that extra bit off and just delete, delete, delete. Okay, so even if it goes off the edges there a little bit, it's not a big deal. Okay, it will just be in the white spaces of the template, no problem. So that will print just plain white with a little bit of a floral design. Again, let's do another one where you can actually, let's say you wanted to do a few different ones merged together. So again, I'm just going to resize that before copying it and cutting it rather, and pasting it here. So you could have that there, or you can turn it around and have it at the bottom. So you could have it here. Again, you know, kind of play around with it, see where you think it fits best, cut off any excess that's going to, you know, overlap on the other sticky notes. So let's say, I actually prefer that on the top. So let's do that. I kind of like that though. I'm going to just do it here so it makes it easier for me to cut off the extra. So I'm just going to go just outside the red line there. And here as well. And across the top. And so we just get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and I think, oops. Okay. So again, if there's stuff coming out the edges, don't worry about it. You know, your post-it note itself is going to be fine. It's just the template will have a bit of extra on there. And you can add multiple designs on one post-it note. So if you wanted, like, you know, a really small kind of design also on the bottom here, you can do that. You can do multiple designs, like of the same ones. Just kind of move them around and make a nice little, you know, border in the bottom. So obviously I am going through this quickly because I'm assuming if you're using, you know, Silhouette, like if you're using this tutorial, you've used Silhouette before and you kind of know your way around it. If you haven't ever used this program before, there are lots of other videos on YouTube that show you how to get started and how to use things. I don't really have, like, I only kind of use it for my own personal use, so I wouldn't say that I'm the best person to show you guys how to use, you know, how to do stuff. So yeah, just kind of look at tutorials. The great thing about Silhouette is that it is a free software and there's actually so much you can do, even if you don't have, you know, the printing and cutting, like the cutting machine. Okay, so there's that sticky note. And again, you can add text to it. That's right, don't forget, make that a lot smaller. What happened? We want that even smaller. We can fill that in. We can try and color match. So if you press the little droppy thing here and press on any of these colors, it will just match the color of that text, or sorry, of that image. You can change the handwriting and you can center it, you know. So that's another post-it note. What else did we do? Yeah, I think I've kind of covered it all really, guys. I just play around with images and resize them and put them around and see what kind of looks nice. I add texts to it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I showed you how to do, you know, one of these where you can just add an extra box to make it kind of the pattern not so bold. So what you would do now is you would print, and your post-it notes are already in the printer the right way round, and so they will just print yeah, on your sticky notes. And then you keep the template, and you just, next time you work with this document, you can just, you know, start doing different patterns on each box, because obviously when you save it, you're saving it with the template copy. Yeah, just make sure that the lines are not black so that they're not printing, as well as the designs. So I hope that's kind of helped you guys see how I do my sticky notes. You know, if I save like images from Pinterest or from Instagram, I just add them to my library and then put them in a box. So for example, I'm going to select that, and I'll actually go to, I thought I had one called quotes, but maybe not. Okay, I've got these ones, words. So this is one I had made myself, and it's just downloading it from my iCloud, I think. Okay, so there you go. So you can just add any quote that you've seen, and if you wanted to add a quote onto a design, so let's say, let's take that out for a minute, and let's fill this with a pattern. Whoops, where's my floral folder? There was one here. Okay, let's say I have this image. So I'm going to fill the sticky note is filled with that, and now I want to add that same text that I had. I'm not going to select the whole box. Okay, I'm going to add it separately. Let's go for Merry Little Christmas. Okay, select that, go back to this design and just fit it, you know, whatever size I want over the image. That's not the best because it's like black on black, but you can see what I mean. So there's like unlimited possibilities on how you can kind of work with these things. You know, you can layer upon, like do layer upon layer upon layer, you know, like add images and add texts and just so much. And basically all you need to start off with is a template. Print the template, put your sticky notes on, you know, make the designs that you want, create some designs, or just select, you know, a box and just download lots of free images from Pinterest or Google or whatever, add them to your library, and select the whole box, and you literally don't have to do anything other than selecting and double clicking, and then you'll have, you know, your own sticky notes. So I hope that's been useful, guys. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll try my best to help you. I kind of just learned myself how to use Silhouette, and so I might not do things in the quickest way. There might be better ways to do it. This is just how I make sticky notes. And like I said, I will drop the links below for places where you can, you know, learn how to do them on Word and also on Google. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Bye. So here are some that I printed. I, you know, printed the template, put my sticky notes on top, and then just pressed print again. And there you go, ready to use these sticky notes now. And just to reiterate that this template you want to keep now. You don't need to keep reprinting this. So I would do it on maybe slightly thicker paper like card, because you will, you know, you can just use the same template if it's saved on your Silhouette software. just over and over again. Just add new sticky notes, and you don't need to, reprint. Like I said, just add a little note there that shows you which is the right way up. There's another really quick way of, like, you know, kind of minimal effort, really functional sticky notes. So these are freebies from Peanuts Planner Co. If you go to her Instagram account, which I will link in the description box below, and just click on her link tree, I think it takes you to her freebies, and you know, she offers a free template, so you don't even have to worry about creating your own template. So you would print this first and add your sticky notes to it as normal, put it back in the printer, and I've used like marbled sticky notes, I've used floral sticky notes, I've used white sticky notes as well. So you can use whatever, you know, whatever sticky notes you want on there, even transparent ones. Print the sticky notes. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Print the template, put your blank sticky notes on there, put it back in the printer. And then this is one that I often use, which is the weekly tracker. So I, you know, will then just press print, and this is going to just print on your blank sticky notes. So, you know, there are lots of people on the internet who offer these kind of freebie, you know, ready-made kind of sticky notes already. So if you're not confident about designing your own, just kind of search around for it. Peanuts Planner Co., like I said, she does have quite a few. This is another one to do checklist. And literally all you have to do is print the template, put your sticky note on, put it back in the printer, and then print this. So that's another way to do it that doesn't require any creating or designing on your part.